This is another Monarch Snapshot video. I'm Jennifer Wenzel, Technology Product Specialist here at American Printing House for the Blind. Wrapped versus cropped mode. Having the Monarch connected to JAWS is really a game changer. It is so exciting to be able to have 10 lines of content on the screen rather than one line at a time. It eliminates so much scrolling. And it just makes a huge difference, especially when you're reading and editing large documents or when you're reading PowerPoint slides. So I want to tell you about wrapped and cropped modes today. These are automatic modes that JAWS has set up for doing different tasks. I am in a document here. It is called, and I'll let the speech read it here.
Weather patterns in Central Florida. Docs Word. Print.
It is called Weather Patterns in Central Florida, and this was given to us by our friends at Vespero. And it is a long document with, right now, blocks of text on the screen. So I get about 10 lines of content at a time, which is amazing to me. I've never experienced, as a blind person that's used screen readers all my life, well, not all my life, but since middle and high school, I have never gotten this type of content on the screen. So what I can find here is it first has weather patterns in Central Florida, and there's an H1 to show me that's a level 1 heading. And then it says Central Florida experiences a unique and dynamic range of weather patterns influenced by its subtropical climate and proximity to both the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. This region is, that's all on one screen. Then if I pan with my Monarch panning key, which is the down arrow key on the right side of the screen, um, the button with the raised down arrow on the right side of the screen, I get my next block, characterized by hot, humid summers, mild winters, and distinct wet and dry seasons, making it a compelling area for studying meteorological trends. And it continues. This is just amazing for reading long blocks and editing. And so that is what wrap mode is. It tries to give you as much text as possible. Now I'm going to show you what happens if you encounter a table. There's an automatic switch to what is called cropped mode. So I'm going to use my quick keys to do this. I'm going to use my JAWS key, which happens to be the insert key, and Z.
Quick keys 1.
And I'm going to use T for
Table
table.
1. Uniform table. Month. Row 1 of 13. Column 1 of 4.
And this gave us some really important speech information. It told me it was a uniform table, and it said month, which is the first column heading, and it told me that I'm in row 1 and column 1 of 4. And I think it was row 1 of 13. So I'm going to turn the quick keys
Quick
off
keys
here.
off.
And this is an amazing thing that the Monarch can do, because you are getting columns of a table for the first time to really see how this table relates. So I have a column that it says first row 1, column 1 up in the left-hand corner, R1, C1. And then it has month, and it's January, February, March, April, May, June, all down that first column. I can choose to read in columns, or I can follow, there's a little dividing line, dividing the columns, and I can see here that it says high air temp, which I would assume means high air temperature. But if I want to know for sure, I can use my Monarch panning key, again, my pan forward. But this, in this context, will move the columns over. It will move me to the right on the table. So now I can see that I have high air temperature, and it's got the column for high air temperature. And then there's another column. It says low AI, which if I move over shows me low air temperature. And then I have Gulf W, which if I move over shows me Gulf water temperature. So this makes it completely easy to get information from a table. Instead of trying to scroll one cell at a time, you're able to really see how this relates. So if I want to get the low air temperature in April, for instance, I can go down to April, January, February, March, April, so it's 4 down, and I can see that the high air temperature is 81 degrees, but I want to go to get the low air temperature, so I just move 1 to the right, actually 2 to the right, sorry, because it brings that column into focus. And I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's 61 degrees. And that makes it really, really easy to get that type of information. And you have choice of whether you want to read down columns, read across rows, and it just makes that whole table come into focus. So these are 2 really important modes. Wrapped mode gives you all the text you want in one block, in blocks. And Cropped mode gives you that relationship of a table, and it will automatically switch between the two as it encounters those elements in your document. This has been a Monarch Snapshot video from your friends at Humanware and APH.